In anime, power is the ultimate goal. We cheer when our underdog hero rises, and we gasp at the hero who unlocks their final god-tier power. But what happens when you're born at the top? When you're born a genetic, anomaly, a singularity of strength that nobody can touch. The view from the very top is often hailed as a victory, but in reality, it's more of a burden. It's lonely. It is crushing. Today, we're dissecting the tragic cost of being, the strongest, featuring main examples of, Gojo Satoru, Yoruichi from, Demon Slayer, Yujiro Hanma, we'll throw him in. And also, that's it. We're going to do more too. But I'm your host, Anime 101. Let's get into it. First, like, share, subscribe. We just hit over 100, and we're doing good. Let's get into it. Let's start with the standard bearer of this concept, Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen. Gojo wasn't just strong. The instant he was born, the balance of the entire world shifted. The power of cursed spirits immediately grew to a higher level in response to his very existence. He is an anomaly, and that isolation defied his life. Gojo possesses two things no one else does, the six eyes and the limitless technique. Together they make him untouchable. But what does absolute untouchability cost? It costs connection. Gojo is surrounded by people, yet fundamentally alone. His strength means he can never truly relate to his peers, who often live under the constant threat of death. He doesn't face challenges, he faces inconveniences. There's no one to push him, no one to truly fear, and thus no one to truly understand his abilities. The strongest person in the room often has to act as a guardian and executioner, unable to share the load. This is the Gojo predicament, a life spent managing a world that is completely reliant on his existence. Now, when it comes to being the absolute pinnacle in your universe, it's not a title, it's a chain that binds you. This chain is the absolute responsibility to protect everyone and everything. Think of All Might from My Hero Academia. He literally puts on a smiling face and becomes the symbol of peace, basically sacrificing his health, his future, and personal life to maintain, a public image. And also, his ability, one for all, is basically the pinnacle of peace in the fight against evil. He's never going to have that normalcy in life. He's never going to have that normalcy to, do anything he wants. He needs to be there all the time, and if he isn't, that's on him. It's not on what's going on. It's his problem to save people. The burden is realizing that your time is not your own. You can't retire, you can't fail, and you certainly can't have a bad day off. The moment you show weakness, the villains are going to be coming, and the symbol and system collapses. The pressure is absolutely insane. Gojo knew he was the only thing preventing an all-out war between the sorcerers and the curse users. He had to babysit the world, basically. He had to hold both sides, trying to pull them together, because if you let go, the world would be over. Perhaps the most overlooked burden is the stagnation of the self. Strength in shonen and anime is often tied to struggle and challenge and overcoming limits. But when you are the strongest, that journey ends almost immediately. There's no mountain left to climb. Take Saitama from One Punch Man. He achieved overwhelming power, and the consequences was his loss of the thrill. He's now trapped in an endless cycle of anticlimactic victories. He is immune to challenge, and therefore immune to true growth. The burden here is profound. Existential boredom, a life without purpose. For Gojo, this manifested as a desire to create someone who could stand beside him. He poured his energy into raising students like Yuji and Megumi, not just as fellow, sorcerers, but as an attempt to solve his own loneliness. He wasn't training them to survive, he was training them to eventually become his equal. And with other series, like Baki with Yujiro Hanma, he is the top. No one will stop him. And that's why he's always hard on Baki. He's always hard on other people, trying to get that thrill. The final, biggest impact of being the strongest is realizing that you are the ultimate target in your universe. Every villain, every conspiracy, and every catastrophic event evolves around trying to take you out and kill you. For Madara Uchiha, his entire plan required neutralizing the only person who could stop him, Hashirama Senju, who is basically the babysitter of Naruto up until his death, because quite literally, everyone, Hashirama Senju, he's one of the strongest basically characters in the verse, to the point where people are still chasing his cells to this day. Naruto has a Hashirama arm. Everyone wants a Hashirama cell. It's like a game show. You get a Hashirama cell. You get a Hashirama cell. Everyone gets a Hashirama cell. And the fact of the matter is that basically he was giving out weapons of basically mass destruction to other nations because he could. That's how strong he is. And for Gojo, his enemies didn't try to beat him in a fair fight. They tried to seal him away in the prison realm, which he currently is in the anime. But in the manga, we know he gets out. They don't want to win by being stronger. They won by basically outmaneuvering him. The strongest characters often have the most painful, sacrificing endings. Their stories are rarely concluded with a quiet retirement. They conclude with a grand, tragic, basically, death. Because the world cannot function with them alive. But it also can't survive without them. Look at Whitebeard from One Piece. Heralded as the strongest man walking. And so, Marineford was basically this whole grand opera thing to get him there to kill Ace too, but also to kill Whitebeard. The man was a walking catastrophe, and the only way they can get to him is by getting, well, his most beloved Ace. And so the strongest is a burden, not a blessing. Depending on your verse, like look at Urich from Demon Slayer. His whole life was basically training, getting stronger. For what? For a mysterious purpose. And then when he confronts Muzan, he knows that this is the guy I gotta kill. This was the guy I was sent down to kill. Now, the fantasy of absolute power is thrilling, but the reality of the situation is it's a heavy crown to bear. From Gojo's lonely existence to All Might's physical collapse, the burden of being the strongest is a lonely challenge and a lonely existence. The destruction of connection, if you will, and the weight of infinite responsibility. If All Might missed someone, well, the world's going to hate All Might. If, well, Gojo messed up, the world's going to suffer for it. If Whitebeard went a little too far, the world will suffer for it. And if Hashirama just sat in the sidelines, sat in the benches, and didn't do anything, the entire Naruto world would be in ruins. But which character do you think carried the heaviest burden of, well, them all? Let me know in the comment section down below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and do all that good YouTube stuff. Well, I'm your host, Anime 101. Signing out. I shall see you guys in the next video. Peace out and have a good day.